Hello, everyone. Here we are with Sneha Kumar, the CEO at Out of the Box Consulting Group. She is super excited to be here with us today. I'm more excited than her because I'm having a lot of questions in terms of law and compliance in the space. I hope you enjoy this episode. So, Sneha, can you let us know about your story? I'll give you the floor. And yeah, take it away. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for having me. And my story dates back to when I would say like 14 years old. I actually started in entrepreneurship, and I was always being told by my teachers, like, you have this eye for connecting with people and identifying their needs. Like, I was always solving problems and stuff like that when I was in high school, and even when I was younger than that. And so I took that and I started businesses while I was in school. It started as like just a simple nail salon business where I was able to understand the fundamentals of business, things like just tracking income and expenses and bookkeeping and stuff like that. Since I was eight, I actually have a journal from when I was eight, where I used to write like my goals and stuff like that. I was always very goal oriented, even when I was a kid. And in that journal, I actually wrote the degree requirements for corporate law. So I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't know that I wanted to be corporate, but I did know I wanted to be a lawyer. So I was basically planning that since I was eight. And then, yeah, fast forward to today, I now I'm the CEO and founder of OTB Consulting Group. We specialize in business strategy consulting. And with my legal background, a lot of what we do is always forward planning and thinking. So we're always taking into account the factors that, the factors that will matter to us maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, even if it doesn't matter today. So that's, in a nutshell, my story.
That's great. And I see that you have a lot of inclination into the maybe some retail, some hospitality as well. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's more things. So what is that makes you like that industry and helping these entrepreneurs?
So most of our clients do sit in the verticals that you mentioned. So retail, food and beverage, or CPG. For restaurants, we work with QSR and FSR, and then also real estate is kind of where I started. So when I graduated high school, I was 16. I got into college and I started criminology at Humber North here in Toronto, and that was I did that for a year. I realized I don't like criminal law. It was too gory for me. But I still like law, so I ended up switching to corporate and a more of a business focus. And with that, I actually entered real estate. So real estate was where I started. When I was 18, I bought a commercial property in Hamilton, and I like renovated it. Kind of did like I did it at a very basic budget level. I did the rentals myself, like I did the flooring and the ceiling tiles and whatever. It gave me a good perspective as to what it takes to like be in real estate and to work as a business, be responsible for those um, you know, tasks, I guess. And then from there, I understood commercial real estate, and then I went into the restaurant industry. I used to work at a bar. I actually started as a bartender when I was younger and I was in school. And that was my first like set of experience. Like in 6 months from when I started there, they already bumped me up to GM. So I was managing the whole restaurant at the time. And I started creating like systems and processes that were making the business more efficient. Not necessarily because I was being asked, but just because I wanted my day-to-day life to be easier. And just with all that experience combined, the real estate, the my experience in the restaurant as a GM, and then understanding how to build out systems, that's kind of where all of this tied back to Out of the Box. When I started Out of the Box, it was essentially an educational platform to teach people how to spend their money in other ways to diversify their income streams. That's essentially how it started, because I come from a background of like education, and I like to teach people. Like, I like to provide resources. That's what drives me every day, and that is the mission behind my brand. And so I realized it doesn't have to be so inaccessible to have multiple streams of income. And if you are willing to take that chance and you have that drive, then yeah, regardless of which industry you are in, and those being the ones that we serve the most, but still we work with clients in so many different places, and all of them bring a very unique experience to our team.
That's awesome. So basically, I'm learning now, if I paraphrase it right. So it's
Mhm.
when one thinks about law and a business, it's just like, oh, it's going to be the articles of incorporation and the
Mhm.
papers and things, but that's not true. Like there's way more things. Like you have actionable strategies. You have
Mhm.
like it's a whole plethora of things that they need,
Mhm.
insights, execution systems, like you mentioned, but on your uh, experience as a GM in the restaurant industry. I think
Yep.
there's more to it
Yeah.
that they could use so that you're expanding. And yes, you can do all those things, which is like the normal
Yeah.
from law, but it's more than that. So, what are
Yeah.
the some of those items and pillars that you can mention that they drive growth to the clients that you have right now?
Great question. Well, yeah, first of all, I will agree with you fully. Like, law is definitely more than just articles of incorporation. I think at the basic level, if I were to describe what law is, and even with my own internship like experiences at different firms when I was younger, it all kind of went back to the same thing, which is that lawyers are diligent people, and they're people that take into account as much as possible and look into every single detail. And when we take that, like, that is definitely a core pillar into how we do what we do at Out of the Box. Another thing is we are very much data driven. So details, data, again, has a great relationship. Everything that we do, we always look into, we're always researching the market. We're planning the future market, understanding what we have, our understanding today, and how that plays into how consumers will spend next year or the year after. Our own core of understanding the Gen Z audience, that's another pillar to what we do. And because Gen Z is now growing to be almost 70% of the consumer market, by 2020, by 2030, we will be 70% of the market. And understanding that we're now taking over in terms of just the markets alone, before we even look at social media and digital marketing and all that stuff. It's like we're just growing, and to understand that that is the consumer that is growing, and to be the consumer, and to also be able to speak on not just my firsthand experience, but the experience of all the other people that are involved in the market at this time. Like, we have that leverage with our clients because of that, because we are that modern brand that also we respect those traditional values that are tied into things like law and data. Everything that we do is always tied with operations. So we believe that a business can be operationally, excellent, and then not be expanding or growing in any way due to a lack of investing into marketing or outbound sales efforts. And then it goes the other way. There are companies that are operationally, like, it's an operational nightmare, but their marketing is amazing. And you're looking at their marketing and you're like, wow, this must be an amazing brand. A great example of that, and I won't get specific into client names, but we did have a client in the QSR industry. They have over 50 stores all over Canada. And despite having 50 stores and a full C-suite, and everything looks amazing, the marketing's amazing, they have tens of thousands of followers on all their social media. Despite all of that, inside it was an operational mess. They didn't have any systems in place to keep their stores satisfied. They didn't have compliance systems in place to make sure that their staff were performing at the right performance level, to make sure that the C-suite and the management actually knew what their daily responsibilities were. Like, despite having 50 stores, still it was an operational mess, but they were investing all this time and effort into marketing, forgetting about how important it is to be operationally successful before you go out there and put your brand in front of customers that are now going to be the deciding factor as to whether you're successful in the market or not, because it all goes back to the customer, right, at the end of the day, and what they think. And if you don't provide that experience for them, it doesn't matter how great your marketing is. You have to think about things that are inside first and then go out there and put your message out there.
That's super powerful. And you already answered a couple of questions in terms of transformation and in terms of future items that you think are going to happen with those KPIs that you mentioned. So that's great. When so it's I now get it. I get the umbrella that you guys provide. So it's project management, it's staffing. It's not that you're like putting staff, but it's like resourcefulness. Like you need to operational nightmare.
Yes.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Operational nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Now, when it comes to like your predictions for the future with all this AI stuff happening and shift, what do you think is going to happen in the industry with the businesses around, like adopting and not adopting AI kind of thing?
Great question. A core service that we provide is also, digitalization and working with businesses that have been established for a while and need that push to make things more efficient. I think when it comes down to AI and like where we're going with it, I was born into the internet age. So for me, like I grew up with internet basically my whole life. Now, as someone that has grown up with internet, but also loves a good book and a good pencil and notebook, I I would say that if people are using it in the right way, it can be very productive, like very effective, very productive. But I do think that Gen Z specifically, which is that generation I've been focusing on for this conversation, is they are only getting like more comfortable. They're the generation of convenience. Like they want everything quick and fast. For example, Uber Eats. That's a platform that does insanely well despite the pricing and despite spending hundreds of dollars on Uber. It's like this generation will still take their last dollar and order an Uber meal versus going to the grocery store and making a meal themselves. Or even like, yeah, just that's a great example, to be honest. I don't even think I need another company. But I think the main thing is that with AI, because we are we're so concerned about being in the position of convenience, people may take AI and I don't think it will positively affect everyone. I think people have to know how to use it in the right way. And something that I've been looking very deep into, and also partners and vendors that we're working with are also deeply researching, is prompt engineering and understanding how to ask the right prompts. And with AI, it's all about what you ask. And I think something that I was taught from when I was in I would say grade 1, like kindergarten, or like they used to say to us, always ask questions, not because you don't know what's going on, but because there's always something you can learn. And I think that applies straight to AI. If you don't ask the right questions, the AI won't do for you what you need it to do. If you are lazy and you use AI, you're only going to be lazier. Like for me, Out of the Box, we do these things called power days, right? It's a little bit outside of the topic of what we're talking about, but the main thing is that the point of the power day is to it's a team culture day that we have where everyone on the team has to put together a pitch deck proposal for an investor for a brand new product idea. So the purpose of this is to keep like our brains fresh, kind of thing. We do it every quarter, and what the rules for this is that you can't use AI. So because we use AI so much in our day to day to make things more efficient and optimize them, we need to make sure, I think, as time goes on, that we're continuing to train the brain to not be lazy, but to actually use it to its ability and to also be able to operate just as well without the AI. Because I think it's the opposite now. We have to look backwards. Like, let's go back to before AI and see how smart you are without it.
Yeah, that's powerful. And it's the same thing that we have said, like garbage in to AI, like what's gonna happen? The output is gonna be the same crap,
Yes,
basically.
exactly. Yeah. I do think it is cool that with AI, you can train it and you can teach it who you are, teach it what you do, and it will understand you. And I get that. I do see that being efficient and productive, but I think in the long run, it's about the person behind the AI, the one that's asking the question. And if you're not training yourself, if you want to use AI and you're not training yourself to ask more brilliant questions, then your answers and the output will always be the same and it will always be at standard level.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Sneha. With this, I think we can close it up, and I
Okay,
really appreciate your time
of
and
course.
the valuable insights that you provided.
Thank you.
And yeah, I wish you the best. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for your time as well and for having me on this.
Love it. Thanks.